Good evening. Thanks for joining us. My name is Caleb Beisert, host of Poetry Open Mic Asheville. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Of course, we can't do open mic right now. City of Asheville has passed stay-at-home orders, and we really should all stay at home and try to protect one another and do what we can. Not just for ourselves, but for all of us. So, thanks everyone for staying home, and we hope to bring back the open mic at some point, and we hope to bring you more forms of open mic entertainment in the meantime. I also want to send out big thanks to Sovereign Kava for supporting this open mic for almost 10 years now. Keeping it going. We've had a lot of good times at the Kava Bar doing this open mic. And thanks also to Sovereign for sending me all this kava and stuff. So, cheers. Bula.
Woo! Okay, disgusting. Just had 3 in a row there. Never gets better.
Oh.
That's the face. That's the face.
That's the face. I want everyone to make some noise one more time. Give it up. It's Joe Shelton, y'all, on Poetry Open Mic Asheville. Make some noise. Make some noise. Make some noise.
It was cold on the boat in the middle of the sea, so I set fire to me. Glad it caught your eye. Thanks for stopping by. There's graffiti in the sewers of Sao Paulo. I've never seen it, and I won't. I caught a snippet of it fluttering around in my mind when it escaped from a mental dossier where I had gathered the scattered clippings of the artist and his art. In a memory I pinned down from a film, he was being received as family by a father, wife, and children who lived among the caverns along the rushing stream of wastewater. The artist and the father held each other for a long moment, and then the father wept as he spoke his gratitude, thankful that there was one man at least who hadn't flushed them away under the city and into the darkness of oblivion, like sewage itself. In another memory, the artist was ankle deep in the effluvia of the city as he directed a headlamp at a cement wall. He worked the magic of his spray paints with both hands in a ballet-like language of puppetry. His eyes were far away at the finish of the thing, just under a wrinkled brow and above a bandana he wore over his mouth and nose. There's graffiti in the sewers of Sao Paulo, all but unseen. It's not gang tags marking a territory like dog piss. It's not an involuntary tattoo applied by a vandal, receiving yet another bandage of paint rolled out by an angry shopkeeper as the stain bleeds through. It's not an anonymous secret handshake between hobos forever passing through. It's not boxcars delivering art to the resentful, involuntary audiences of indifferent rural and industrial worlds. It's not the slowly crumbling dilapidations of failed and forgotten businesses and institutions repurposed as canvases. It's not Keith Haring or Banksy or Basquiat bursting out of a cocoon of lawlessness from the extra wasted spaces. It's not the brave and dangerous political statement of a voice silenced by oppression. No. I almost admire thrill seekers who hang from ropes to burn on a bridge, and stopwatch crews who slip into subway tunnels between trains for a deserved adrenaline rush. They put art in front of the people where it belongs, but Sao Paulo's sewers are again as the darkened caves of Neander were when the shelter was the sewer. The cold stone walls were the canvas, and graffiti was journal, teacher, decoration, comfort, and then abandoned. There's graffiti in the sewers of Sao Paulo. I've never seen it, and I won't. But the idea of it and the existence of it are beautiful and sad and noble to me. Acorn. When I went in the earth, it was not goodbye. I swallowed an acorn before I died. When you stand in the spot where they buried me, you'll be in the shade of a great oak tree. It's ever so rude that my roots intrude into nearby pine boxes where my unmarked neighbors lay, leaving all our bones in disarray. Maybe hidden with us paupers, are royalty in our number. So reverently step, and lightly too, and don't disturb our jumbled slumber. Don't saw me down for a chest of drawers. I'd rather be a big dance floor where, years after my obit never made the news, soul men nightly shout out the blues, and socks hop around by a pile of shoes. Better still, just leave me be, and let my leaves fall off of me, every fall, until I do lie down noisily in a dew. Okay. All right, we'll do a couple of songs here. An oldie but a goodie. Oh, I gotta turn off my background music here. I said pew. There it goes. All right.
Alright, thanks for joining us tonight. Really appreciate you being here with us. This is Poetry Open Mic Asheville, virtual quarantine love stream. We're getting it going here. Let's see. Do we have Mark Hudson up first? Mark Hudson. Cool. Mark Hudson can't bring you on the stream. Make sure you're using a mobile device or update your app. Try uninstall, reinstall. Caleb, I saw you on here. Nope, my brother, no. No option to bring you on stream. Try the mobile device. Try updating your Facebook app. Who else is here ready to go? Has the Live With feature working on their Facebook app? We have Noreen. Noreen is here, but I'm not getting the option to bring you on. We got Max. Oh, you're not signed up. I can bring you on though.
Okay, I'll try it again. I promise we're gonna have some performances here, y'all. God damn it, Facebook. Kevin, where you at? I'm sending you the invite. You have to accept the invite to join the live stream.
Oh,
There we
okay,
go,
cool.
Kevin. What's up?
I've been pushing that button. It wasn't reacting. I don't know.
Tell me about it, man.
Oh, cool.
It's weird stuff. All right. Well,
All right.
I'm gonna turn it over to Kevin. You got some poems and stuff for us? Maybe some
I
harmonica?
got some poems and stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Well, cool. Y'all give it up for Kevin Evans.
All right. Good evening. These walls can't say shit outside of those motherfuckers who lived here, smoked too damn much, fought too damn much, and cooked too damn much, and couldn't cook. They just smoked the fucking joint out. They tried to give me smoke inhalation, venomization. They tried to kill me on several occasions. Help me now, I'm low, they scream. I'm burnt down, demolished, ashed into black, vacant, stolen memory. I have been cremated, the walls reticently scream. Someone please avenge this mass injustice, they plead. Why was I not protected? Do you hate me? I'm in shock, comatose. I saw the children burn the toast. I saw the coming of age youths sneak out, creep out slyly. I saw them rattle bedposts for the very first time in their lives. I uttered, whispered not a word. I witnessed them standing on the falling, slipping edge of intoxication's obliteration when their minds were quite fucked. They reached for things they could nebulously see while failing to touch. I felt their desperate hands of despair crawling upon me, fondling me, contributing to the dirt and filth that was already upon me. It felt so good, so comforting. I felt important, as if they really direly needed me, for they knew I had no place to go. They knew I wasn't going to crumble or fall, not for years to come. The blinds, windows, shades, and sun with the unique projection screen. Always place mesmerizing, elegant patterns and colors upon my cracked skin and me. I am no one's candle. I am no one's queen nor king. I may be attacked by vandals or tattooed by magic, manic, enchanted artists from the inhospitable and dangerous field, but that'd be only in a dream. Decorate me with your family pictures and portraits. Maybe then I would not be perceived as such a poor piece of shit. I was once a decent piece of shit, perhaps constructed, held up, or surrounded by brick. Wishes, perchance, I have a few. Still, I enjoy viewing the transpiring moments of composing wishes engaged upon by you. Your patience, or the lack thereof, somehow reminds me of lackluster days of gray caked up dust, piling up upon the environment of the present's rut. Somehow it reminds me of the tenacity of love. Somehow it reminds me of the search journey, the fight for love. Blood was on me in several drops, holes knocked in me and my fortitude, and with my fortitude only is it you that I can stop. Your frustration, anger, and impatience wailed upon me in streaking, blazing rubicund. In times to come, with the sun, it fades to icy blue, in white streaks and blotches revealed with the many tickings of watches. The knotting is complex and compelling, twisting, reflecting inner workings of the tired, apprehended, contradicted, and defenseless mind. Then look back at me, review what it is that you have done, study it all closely, as well as your damaged, banged up hands. View it with your squinting, distorted eyes. Your stomach's all contorted, it's puzzled, bubbling, green poison rapids do collide and attempt to rise. You lean against me, your head unneatly fitted into your darkness of your cloaking arms and hands. Pondering a trade with the heavens, the skies, a barter for a new redesigned, specialized, and perfectly fitting life. My empathy sentenced me to a momentary term to be as one with you, and you as one with me. You ruined it all when you unfortunately spewed a bit upon me just prior to hastily visiting the room of relief, the sanctuary of porcelain sculptures with superior air of sterilization. You and I know we are not clean, but I'm here at all times. Upon me you can lean upon me in grief or pleasure. For I've seen you in the nude with another individual bumping you against me with such force, I felt as if I was being loved and seduced. I was left alone with my beautifully sorted, fiery, dripping thoughts, imagined and insinuations soon. It's indeed a prerequisite that a structure such as me must definitely possess patience and not expect to be extricated, at least not in the way one would wish. Now I'm just a pile of old rubble. How it flares and bubbles my pores. All right. uh, Cookie Monster. Do you want her? She's shaped like a chocolate harlot. She is just an irregular businesswoman. She isn't quite secular. In fact, her chosen religion is what she calls genie bottle Buddhism. And she will kiss gentlemen willing, but she never has to even touch much of their bare skin. She rarely gets completely. For anyone, it doesn't go so far to where any sword dipped in the protection of a falsely sacred cloth is even penetrated. Monster, did you know that this sophisticated chocolate flowing waterfall daydream never lost her virginity? Well then, the question is, how in the hell does she make you scream? How in the hell does she keep you coming? There's something in her. There's something with her. You have many, many more moon tracks before you discover that her ass is an axe, the physically harmless type. Some say that shines is the worst kind when you get distorted enough to give her the grassy acres filled with stirring fruit and wine. When you sign it all over to her because she's just too innocent, sweet and pristine to commit such a crime. Emotionally tugging and snagging, juicing into the rag that is your old trousers, as your hands cling to the black limo's glass, bulging. You are squirming, and she's hardly even said or done anything. She screams like a kettle, falling in love with a hollow, haunted flute. Cookie Monster, do you know what you should do? Do you know what you are going through? I didn't think so. You smell like bleach and cocoa, buttered under summer mystery fruit. Your wife asks you when you arrive back out at the farm, where you been and how's the new car that for you went to the big city to shop and cop. What about that paint job on my car? It has been rusted up since the tornado rearranged the lawn. You just smile, shrug, and play dumb. You say, I ran into some old friends and we had an extended symposium lunch discussing cookies that taste like medicine and medicine that tastes like heaven. She looks at you as if she's trying to see through a tree collapsed roof from 30,000 feet high, for to really see into the indoor truth of a husband, of a land, of a time, of a roasted rocky romance. She can't. She can't. She just knows all she knows. And he, to her, will always be the champ, sweet and beastly, the Cookie Monster Man. What happens when the milkman goes missing? One October evening, orange juice drinking, tasting the autumn, smiling, smiling, his best, brightest reflection. A little girl on a milk box stands next to him. He's still smiling, but the whole picture's a question. Question. What happens when the milkman goes missing? Do you visit him in the land of nothing? In the time of, what did they expect? What did they want? He stepped away for a cigarette and never came back from lunch and never came back for lunch. What happens when the milkman goes up and missing? And he was hardly even done, marginally young. Thanks, man. Cool. Word. Oh, that was fun and weird. It's cool.
It's good to see you, man.
You too, man. Hey, we'll catch you soon. I'll be keeping in touch.
That sounds great. I'm gonna duck out of here.
All right, peace.
Without further ado, let's see if we can get Moody Black on here. Y'all make a whole bunch of noise for Moody. Give it up.
Lord, it's so hard living this life. A constant struggle each and every day. Many are blind and cannot find the truth, 'cause no one seems to really know. But I won't accept this is how it's gonna be. Devil, you got to let me and my people go. 'Cause I wanna be free, completely free. Lord, won't you come save me? My daughter once told me that every night when she go to bed, she sleep with a small picture of a little brother right beside her pillow at night. See, my daughter, she loved her little brother, both born from different mothers. Never taught my kids about being half siblings. One of my elders once taught me that God only made people whole. Funny, in history class, textbooks say we were once considered 3/5, but on July 9th, what was supposed to be a day of hanging downtown with daddy, I, along with my 8-year-old daughter and my 4-year-old son at the time, we found ourselves in the midst of a march. Folk marching over the deaths of Alton Sterling and Philando Castile, so we marching. My son, face filled with 4-year-old aggression, Huey Newton in his spirit. He felt the energy of the crowd. Black Lives Matter screamed like a steam engine from his 4-year-old teeth. His older sister reached for his left hand to make sure he was safe as we marched with Sojourner Truth in her eye, close eye on his every step. She turned around and she asked, she said, Daddy, how come they marching? So I explained her by asking, if your brother and I was doing anything wrong and a police officer killed us only because of our color, would that make you mad and sad? And she said, yeah. So I told her that these people are marching because they don't know what else to do. And they want to show the world that they're mad and sad. Y'all, deep down, I was mad and sad because black folks still marching. So immediately, my mind flashed 10 years from now, seeing them still marching. My son, face filled with 14-year-old aggression. My daughter, she's 18 years old, still watching his every step. Both of their fists pumping, screaming for the justice of the murder of their father. My mind flashed 10 more years, seeing my 28-year-old daughter still marching, holding a picture of a little brother. That same picture, she used to lay beside her pillow at night. No, she'd never see him again. She's crying. The Niagara Falls fall on her face, screaming till her voice became silent. Black Lives Matter. My mind flashed 10 more years, seeing my 38-year-old daughter still marching, holding a picture of her husband, holding a picture of her son, holding a picture of her father, holding a picture of her brother, the same picture. No, she never see him again. And we've been watching, and we mad and sad, we refuse to be broken. How come we keep being reduced to being a fraction of what we're supposed to be? One of my elders once told me that God only made people whole. Then how come the police trying to 3/5 our freedom? How come black folks still marching? We've been marching since 1942, and we are tired. And our shoes ain't got no more souls to give. What's going up, Asheville? What's going on? What's happening? What's happening? What's going on? I'm so happy to be back here with y'all again. I want to be happy like a puppy with 2 tails. I want to be happy like a tornado in a trailer park, a tick on a fat cat. I want to be happy like when my 8-year-old daughter calls and she say, Daddy, how you do that there? Happy like my son when he runs up and down the hall to escape in his imaginary play world, singing the Curious George jingle, kind of happy. I want to be happy like being happy is the new cool. I want to be happy like you think I'm on some drugs, but I'm not on no drugs because I don't like the drugs, but the drugs like me. And me, I want to be happy like I want to turn up. I want to get lit. I want to act the fool. I want to be free without embarrassing you. But if I embarrass you, it's okay because I'm happy. I want to be happy like I want to do some crazy stuff like run naked at night downtown with a purple cape flapping in the wind. And it won't be the only thing flapping in the wind. I want to fly. I want to spread wings and the whisper of the universe on my fingertips. I want to moonwalk on the sun. I want to grab stars like the diamonds in the black, silky sky. Okay, that might sound like I'm on some drugs, but I'm not. I'm just happy, like I want to explode in Big Bang Theory, new beginnings of being in bliss, until it design my smile. Do you know that my teeth are pearly gates, releasing the God in me, because being happy is like being in heaven. I want to be happy like Moody Black is the most interesting man in the world. He once parallel parked the school bus underwater. His blood smells like cologne. Aliens ask him to probe them. Something about that guy. No, I'm just happy. Happy like it's the first day of spring. Happy like the kids at the after school program where I used to work. And one of them asked, Mr. Rob, do you know what star is made out of? I guess, child, it's gas and energy. And they said, no, imagination. That made me happy. Happy like I got a plate of fish and grits. Happy like when I sit in my recliner, sipping some orange juice, watching Amazing Spider-Man, kind of happy. Happy like being a poet. Because I know there's a dark place waiting for me to put down my pen. But I refuse to be down again. And being happy don't mean that everything has to be perfect. It just means you have to smile through its imperfections. So I won't let hard times, a bill, a rainy day, especially a hater bring me down. Because I'm happy.
When the blue and red sirens pass you, when the school calls because your child beat the exam and not a classmate, when the smartphone drops but does not crack, the rush escaping your mouth betrays your upbringing. Thank you, Jesus, a balm over the wound. When the mammogram finds only density, when the playground tumble results in a bruise, not a broken bone, like steam from a hot tea kettle. Thank you, Jesus. And the pent up fear bends upward out. Maybe it's a hand over breast, supplication learned deeper than flesh, as if one could shush the soul, the fluttering heartbeat with 3 words. Maybe it's not so dire, an almost trip on the sidewalk, the accumulated sales total showing savings upon savings. Maybe it's as small as an empty seat on the metro, or maybe thank you, Jesus, becomes the refrain every time your husband pulls into the driveway, alive and whole, and no one has mistaken him for all the black scary things. You mutter it, helpless to stop yourself from the invocation of a grandmother who gave you your first Bible. You say it because your mother, even knowing your doubt as a vested commodity, still urges prayer. You learned early to cast the net. Thank you, Jesus. And it's a sweet needle that gathers the fraying thread, hemming security in steady stitches. From birth, you've heard this language. As an adult, you've seen religion used nakedly as ambition, yet this sacrifice of praise still slips past your lips. This lyrical martyr of your dying faith. The goddess of anger. Did he touch you? Did he hit you with jagged words or closed fists? Did he laugh at you? Were you polite even then? Were you lava under the skin? Then let me in. Unsheath the dagger of me. You've tasted pain, now let me master it. Let me in. I'll use the dust of his bones for tea. I'll rise vengeful and caustic, a florid fury steeped in seething. I'll make his eyes bleed. Let me in. I'll dissect him unflinchingly. A backhand slap, a rake of fingernails. I'll spit my small mercies. I'll dance on him in stilettos, paint my toenails OPI red while the blood congeals. Let me be your ignition point, your pitch, the whoosh of hot, sweet breath. I'm all your swallowed heat simmered into flesh. I too can lift burdens. Let go of fear, of retribution. Let go of decorum and shame. Ride rage until it bucks, then jump on it again. Damn it, let me, let me, let me in. My son's head is a fist rapping against the door of the world. For now, it's dressers, kitchen islands, dining room tables that coax his clumsy, creating small molehills of hurt breaching the surface. The ice pack, a cold kiss to lessen the blow, equals a frigid intrusion. A boy cannot be a boy with all this mothering getting in the way. Sometimes the floor plays accomplice, snagging an ankle, elbow, top lip to swell. Other times it's a tantrum when he spills his limbs onto the hardwood, frenzied then limp with anger, tongue clotted with frustration, a splay of 2-year-old emotion voiced in one winding wail. My son cannot continue this path. Black boys can't lose control at 12, 18, even 43. They don't get do overs. So I let him flail about now, let him run headfirst into the wall, learn how unyielding perceptions can be. Bear the bruising now before he grows, enters a world too eager to spill his blood, too blind to how red it is. Dear America, when I say America, I mean white people. You need a new name. I respectfully decline to continue this narrative. Evolution is upon us like a kiss. My tongue twists. I'm getting sick from holding it. Massa, officer, with you fear is always a whip or white lady calling 911. We grew up in the same house. Cotton fields, colonial red bricks, plantation shutters, but in 2016 you shit the bed. Since then, my blues smoke. Spirits singe my throat. Oblivion's a better dance partner. At least with her, I cough but don't choke. Under your patriotic blanket lies a thorny bouquet. You market it well, so I miss the smell of copper, blood steady seeping down my wrist. The founding fathers bought bodies, but every day I'm the one asked for receipts. I breastfed the beast till it gnashed and took off running on its feet. Can I get store credit for my rage, a trade and voucher for my heartbreak? I'm not a white man with a gun. I can't shoot up a school, church, or movie theater for Burger King, a little right wing fun. America, are you listening? You need a new name. I cannot keep talking to myself when I am not talking about myself. Maybe America isn't who I need to talk to. Dear reader, we need to knuckle up. From old newspapers to online news, headlines excusing whiteness ain't failed to disappoint me yet. It's time for the remix. Let the masses DJ, not another oligarchy set. Be that more perfect union. And while the ink is still wet, make capitalism beg for forgiveness. Forgive college debt. Establish a general income. Make felons voting legit. Right in healthcare, not that Western mindset, but holistic. Meditate on that. Dear reader, I need you to know I have hope in us yet.
Imagine this. Imagine this, a world that exists. Yes, that exists. Imagine a world where beauty is a thing you see but never feel. Kind words fall deaf on ears ringing with echoes of hate. Fuck 'em. I'm pretty today. Pretty and afraid. Paycheck to paycheck, cashing in shits of despair. Wake up, boy, you've overdrawn. You don't get to be pretty today or really ever. Words, ugly, are cave paintings within your cavernous mind, seeping through layer upon layer of houndstooth wallpaper. Shh. Shh. I can hear myself. Some days I hear voices, less like voices, more like ragged screams, duplicitous hoarse belches gasping through dry throats. Sometimes I hear voices, more like war cries, bloodthirsty, ambivalent shrieks of retribution. I hear voices, never happy ones. Necessary cogs in my clockwork psyche, meticulously self-constructed to operate this scarred wheel of force. I've come before and I left unfinished, and I have come again with soul entwined brutally around rage, not born of this time around. I I am beautiful. Narcissist, arrogant, too smart for your own good. You love yourself too much. There you go again. You know there will always be someone better. Abomination. Abomination. Our first designation. By an assailant who only saw my brother's flesh. My big brother looks like a prepubescent ginger dwarf from Lord of the Rings. White, ginger, and kinda hairy, he was suspended that day for fighting and winning, and not because our mother's honor was once again assaulted, but for the sake of his newborn half-breed brother. Half-breed because we are half the seed of 3/5 of a man. Your ancestors would tell it that way. I am mudblood, mixed up, aberration to this monochromatic melting pot nation. Which begs the question, what are you cooking in a pot this big with no spices? Which begs the question, how are you so self-righteous? But that's not our story, for I am the abomination. These all black problems don't truly affect me. Light-skinned house nigga, more likely to wash the dishes than be in the field catching switches that weave wounds that constantly prove everything happens now, and trauma is a poison that oozes for millennia. Our ancestors brandished braided whips of kinky curly locks, peeling layers of skin, alternating hues, revealing diasporic kin of every complexion. But what is kin to us, beyond the color of skin to us? And what is skin to us, beyond the color of sin to us? And why does your reality shake when you see it's my white brother's body on the slate? No, not brother, in the way that we're all allegedly family under one malevolent deity, but blood of my blood, mind of my mind, tenants of the same womb. Standing in the mirror, 3 reflections staring back at me. Blackness enraged at my ignorant privilege, white pride eagerly awaiting my predisposed failure, and the golden boy. Boy with no claim, beast of no nation siphoning ghosts to build a kingdom between, tearing ivory bandages that hide my comforting complexions. Standing in the mirror, I am free, as long as the golden boy stares back at me. Look at me. I said fucking look at me. Look at us like Peter with thimble unstitching old wounds, tearing scabs and dead flesh from bones that have weathered storms no child should envision. Do you hear our bandages pitter-patter? Our stitches rip through scar tissue. We never learned to cauterize our wounds, so we do this for you. We do this open heart surgery because I am desperate to be seen. See me beyond what I am, for I am more than dead siblings, monikers, and movements. I am Sonata. I am alone. So you will fucking look at me. And you will know this is for the fearful, the pariah, the scared to eat, scared to wiggle, breathe, and feel. And this is for Elijah McClain, a boy who will never again dance in the rain. I've lain with love 1,000 times, and in 1,000 forms I've been broken by the ephemeral. If I took you on a date, we merely watched the clouds go by, would you appreciate life as I do? Or would they just be clouds to you? Show me something, anything, please. Let your curiosity leak and mingle with mine own, because in a billion snowflakes, none are ever the same, and in a billion little kisses, not one is ever the same. The burnished amber of shifting desert sands begs for rain, and with kisses I shower every glint. Knowing your thirst, I bring moisture to every morsel, until like sands I can no longer hold you. One time, we were 2 children, who found each other during a thunderstorm when the power goes out. You have the wick, and I the wax. Between the 2 of us, we molded a candle in the dark, curiosity the catalyst. You still have the wick, and I the wax. We did everything to stay in the light, yet the flame still flickers, and we shield it from the breeze. As rain persists through incomplete ceilings, we covered our flame between our bodies, you the wick, and I the wax. Sheltering from disaster, even if it burns us, it's just hot wax, which is better than the dark. So much better than the dark. Reminiscing on your ardor, my visage begets to impish impersonation. How sly of me to steal kisses from goddesses. How sly of me to steal kisses from goddesses. Fervent pursuit of new desire with verdant affections at my wake brought me to this sacred place. Reminiscing on your ardor, my soul takes succor at the table of guilt. For when you steal kisses from goddesses, you have stolen nothing and only ever dined in the shallows. I remember you. I remember you because Your voice is like sitting by the coals of a dying campfire in the high desert, watching a sky full of silver teardrops we call stars. Your skin is that same desert. Brown, beautiful, weathered. Weathered because you wear your heart on your sleeve, a heart that has been molded and crafted in the fires of self-loathing, hotter than Mount Doom in the shadow of Mordor. You look in the mirror and cry silver teardrops we call stars, because you've yet to see the beauty of dying coals in the high desert. You've yet to see the beauty of the high desert.
Dylan Krieger is riding the apocalypse in real time in South Louisiana. Everybody give it up, make a whole bunch of noise for Dylan Krieger.
So what's next? After first freak out, reinvest your Roth in gold and stock up on non-perishables. Nest egg for the apartment because you're not allowed to leave it. We thought Armageddon would be one thing. The heat, galactic collision, runaway gods come home to roost. But it's everything. Cleared throat in the boardroom, honeybee under my boot, stench around St. Rose, Louisiana. I've saved a little money for when university degrees go back to their original lives as tree pulp, for when my bosses finally read my poetry, for when the system blows over in strong wind, no revolution necessary. The top-heavy odds will take care of it. We track the numbers of global and local infected like we can cost-benefit a way out, map a route someplace else, hitch our trailer to the Twilight Zone. But no such love, no such sweet carry-on, despite our deepest wishes, we keep existing, nonchalant crisis after nonchalant crisis. Sometimes I am sick and tired of being a lawful citizen. Sometimes I unhook all the fasteners of my outfit and let the breeze comb through my ghost cloud. The contagious never touch, but I would risk it. Under the right barbed wire, crescent gap-toothed smiling, I would place your palm on what can perish and let you feel the muscled engine wrenching, oceanic in its monsters, faster and faster. In the old days, there was a story about how the wilderness got away from downtown. The seas parted, Moses invoked the multicolored coats of his ancestors, and the dinosaurs began to grow their fenestrated feathers. The myth has since never relented. We guess the arced trajectory of every penny's evanescence, but resistance is weightless. It doesn't go down with gravity when it catches a bullet to the stomach, but plummets upward, cupping its hands like a bucket, sucking the shelf melt from the ice caps like the end is what every age should covet. I'm not above plucking the stray hairs from the planet. Physicalist intervention of this bent is sexy, or so my dormant hormones tell me. Is this too heady to hold steady in your lead prosthetic wingspan? When my smartwatch says the water's fine but rising, I press ignore and choose instead to shred my clothes and show the ocean front just what it's inching toward. Autopsy reveals lasting marriages mostly composed of sharp metal in a theoretical vacuum. I am a longitudinal experiment in elopement, and the results are what you might call good on paper, as in they're still together. I've never been arrested, listened in class well enough to welcome into my bloodstream the great canonical misogynists of history. What a setback success is. You have to unlearn everything and then keep it hanging around your house like an antibody. It's touch and go with me and weddings. Forget red glasses. Even with a pile of full-blown roses up over my head, my mother comes wandering through sometimes with her two black eyes, the kind you might separate over but not divorce. That's what I absorbed, looming large above the lesson planners about what bad men deserve. When the window shoppers point and huff, embarrassed not by what he's done, but by the gall of this girl, to raise her face above the document, to show it off. The paper roses of prison pinned to my tiny bedroom. I remember when friends felt like cooked flies on mom's windshield, 9 o'clock sharp, nighttime in local county lockup where Mikey's window faced the alley, and somehow beyond logic, we enlisted our parents to be in on it. Back and forth, block to block, the west side unkillable small town out of a storybook too shitty to be published. Wishes are the things delicately affixed with scotch tape to the walls of cells never entered, too scared, but I was there, out back, countless drive-bys, riding shotgun into darkness, headlights off. I read the letters aloud, said yes to the charges, dressed up for a court date before I could vote. We don't even talk now, but I heard hard time happened. I hope it's over, but then again, what do I know? Landlocked civilian propaganda handed down over and over. Don't stay sore for the sake of it. The only maxim that matters in anger, what the flowers were oozing this whole time anyway. Come home one day and find the robin's eggs broke open, and what is there to say about the world about-faced, about the screaming turned to laughing, about the change? On a bad day in the bayou, cockroach corpses litter my kitchen. I scrutinize the crystal armor of their spiny undercarriages and wonder what abomination unhinged my hips to let them in. Afraid to discover which Palmetto spinsters have really vacated the premises of their reflective shells, I leave their bodies the possibility of playing possum, strewn across scab red linoleum, a misled militia of desiccating angels, leaving detached legs for the cat to lose behind the fridge or down uncaulked cracks between tiles. In a different quadrant of nightmare, the Pacific Ocean middle of nowhere, all the discarded refuse we refuse to own up to is stockpiling plastic weaponry for an inanimate uprising. Self-amassing Atlantis, free-floating landfill outlandish. So that's where I left my bloodied 7th grade bandages. 6-pack of Guinness from when the flood rolled in. So old now I can't seem to muster disgust without nostalgia, a wad of spit without my mouth awater. I want to taste the gunmetal dumpster, the pus-filled pipeline of a stunned extinction in which the infrastructure of the lab rat capsizes and flashes a smile past the fourth wall all the while, as if it knows just who it's mesmerizing. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate y'all being here. Put your hands together and make a whole bunch of noise for Mildred K. Barya. Y'all give it up.
The sky bears no scar of the storm clouds passing through. Teach me, dear sky, not to contract when the blues of my life, like crashing cymbals, batter this body of dust open to the elements. Behind bars, mother and I, we keep the door ajar, a box of macaroni in the cabinet next to rooibos tea wrapped in foil. Our breathing is steady throughout the years. When we finally get a call or hear the knock, we will assiduously walk to the door, take father in our arms, welcome him home. For Tamil rice, you will not grow. I trace your face on things left behind, a coffee machine, a washing machine, wishing they create new sounds. The sound of your toy gun, the sound of your laugh, my greatest gift, to have had you. I string together memories like beads to carry me through. I sing names of lives we lose, our fact history repeated over and over, never over. On your birthday, family comes for prayers. Time, they say, heals, erases. I do not want to heal, trading heartsick fall. Isn't amnesia a mistake for recovery? Do we ever know when we are dead? Like the black man who has been fighting for justice he doesn't believe in anymore, is now surrounded by dead things, twigs, burnt tires, men, women, and children in tears. As he lifts his numb foot, his mind, already elsewhere, ponders the forward movement, steps on a patch of grass that takes him away from the concrete sidewalk like quicksand. His last words are, "This is not dead." I'll now switch back to my animal poems. House Mouse. After catching a mouse in my trap, I speak to it gently. "Hello, mouse. I recognize your suffering. You and I are one. I, too, have fallen prey." The mouse, not buying any of it, pierces its tender, blue-eyed scrutiny straight to my heart, through which I claim to speak. Then hear it say, "Do what you've got to do." The power in that. Sanctum. 3 turkeys have claimed our holy space in the woods, the drum circle. I approach cautiously, each inhale purified by the scent of pines. The first time I came here and sat on one of the polished stones, tired hands and feet found renewed strength, stamping and thumping until I could not tell my heart separate from the drumbeat. We speak no other language other than the drums. Isn't it possible that we have at last found what the sages meant when they said, "We shall transcend in the communion of our souls, where we linger in silence before a train not far from us rumbles across the French Broad River." Music. When cicadas sing, do they know I am listening?
I'm going to start with a poem called Song, and it's a poem after Allen Ginsberg. And Caleb, you kind of remind me of a younger version of him. Okay, Song. We all carry the weight of love, lugging our emotional baggage through loopholes of existentialism. 21 grams of precious Carbocan stones and a sack of Salento figs. Sure, I have been cobwebbed in a party dress, crowned by a laurel of laudanum, the cistern of the moon flushing my cathartic prose of relic and punctuation. I have raced towards a roulette of visions, recklessly hissing uncut hysteria, spun around under a helicopter of eternal howling moons, oil slick like a Frisco seal, boutique mascara smudged to sinew in the dulcimer disco of night. A dull simmer rendered in my chest as I faced Eurydice and sacrifice, then staggered to front final stanzas that stood in as understudies for the ultimate epiphany. But love has grieved generations. Many prophecies of desire have ended with lobotomies of nervous, butchered hearts. In the whorehouse of my heart, a starry lit city and perfumed snatches of borrowed time, a stoic crusade of begonias line the windows, every kiss draped in lubricious fairy tales. But love is this, a weight of wings, lace, and vapor, the body sung electric, beguiling itself on filigree and flicker, ziplocked into a chiffon oblivion. The weight of love surpasses everything. So I discarded the angels, seraphim and sirens, their wings of mescaline, tails of benzodrine, and kiosks of church organs. Only the devil's mariachis offered me masticated truth, but I never once resisted love. Explosion. In a country that has died continuously, today Beirut takes another hit from hoarded ammonium nitrate, confiscated from a Russian cargo ship, kept in storage for 7 years at its scenic port in the harbor. As chemicals react, heat in the COVID sun, first there is a small bang, followed by a much larger one. A cauliflower floret of smoke rises, not dissimilar to something nuclear, until the explosion exhaled into a quick cloud and people filmed the fire from a distance and car windows suddenly sucked into themselves as if the entire sea had been contained in a bubble. It burst chokeful like a balloon across the land, causing even the furthest away to leap or to dismantle into cover as debris fired like a rain of bullets punching holes into any surface it reached. Shrapnel in the streets, states of shock, crisis on top of crisis. 3,000 homes snatched, ceilings fell on hospital patients, buildings shook, trucks upturned, flames spread through warehouses, smoke breached sunset, streets cobbled in danger, balconies released their stand. Sound splintered as it moved to crack open apartments, lockdown blown apart. All are forced to flee, escaping glass, saving loved ones. On hospital wards in catastrophe and panic, parents pulled out the intravenous drips of their terminally sick children. A nurse runs backwards and forwards, arms always flowering, a rescue of newborns, out into the city, searching other life and more help. Electricity cut, cables split, slashed across the pavement. And what is there to return to in the rubble? Much like life after a shock blast and blitz, everything just fell down, as if a gravity belt had been pierced, calling a whole fleet of people to hobble by foot to hospitals where piles of corpses toppled at entrances with makeshift bandages, wailing bloody faces, and children, bricks, dust, and metals hurtling forwards in the air. Journalists look for passports, pens, their breath, and sturdy shoes. As over 100 miles away on the island of Cyprus, locals felt the blast, some stilled, some were slightly shoved sideways. What happens when your world collapses? Through the Casper dark night, names of the missing or wounded are channeled through screens. In the background, buried limbs start protruding through rock. As you sleep, then cannot sleep, the alive feel lucky to be alive, but where to sprint now when uninhabitable homes keep crumbling possessions? Unluckiest brothers and sisters, there to weep and there to witness the demise of your country in minutes as the firefighters and the healers raced over what had been exposed with little or any warning. The smoke reached Damascus as the skeleton of buildings shot seismic iron rods and geometric disarray in still frame post-eruption, signaling more grief and clear sense of a disaster worse than war. Calamity in the capital city of Lebanon. I send out my condolences in healing prayers and song.
All right, Justins, what's up,
What
y'all?
up? How's
Hey.
everybody doing?
I'm good. You know, it's all considering, I am good. How are y'all doing tonight?
Fantastic. Thanks for having us on, Caleb.
Absolutely. It is my pleasure to host or moderate, shall we say. I've invited these gentlemen here tonight I've given them each 2 minutes to read a poem for you. And now your people have agreed to these rules. Each person has 2 minutes to speak, and then you'll have 2 minutes to speak, but you can't speak over the other person, of course. Anyway, we're gonna get this thing started here. 2 minutes each to do a poem, and let's start with Justin Blackburn.
All right. American conditioning's gonna steal your soul. American conditioning's gonna steal your soul. Bread of lies and pizza rolls. American conditioning's gonna steal. They'll love you if you play their game of their fear, game of their pain. I hope you were always questioning your American conditioning. Hey, Karen, yeah, come here. Let me wash your brain. Christmas, candy cane, cancer. We have the medicine, so we have the answers. Now give all your power away. Good luck on death. Have a nice day. The system is an organism born to make you insane.
Oh, the system.
Take this pill.
The system,
It'll kill the real part of you. The energetic heart of you that will bring healing, your dreams true. Hurry up and swallow. We don't want you feeling.
This is good. Justin, this is really
Hurry up
good.
and follow. We can't have
it's
you
his 2 minutes.
kneeling.
No. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Is that 2 minutes? Okay.
Yeah, no, you have to. You still have a minute left. Yeah, you just don't talk while they.
Hurry up and follow.
Justin, don't interrupt
We can't
Justin.
have you kneeling.
I'm not.
The foundation is caving. We need
that's
you
bullshit.
behaving.
Hey,
Time
this
to
is
work
bullshit.
hard, Jason.
This is-
But
I
you don't
can't-
deserve
Justin.
payment.
I can't
Because
call him
it's
out.
an honor to be disconnected from
Justin,
your
you're interrupting
desires and hate
Justin.
your life like your
I'm
father.
criticizing
We must
Justin
keep you
as he's
angry
right- as
and
he's reading
afraid.
shit.
That's how you know you're American.
We're not
made.
afraid.
We boom you, baby, boom
Justin,
you.
that's 2 minutes
This
to
is-
read a
this is
point. You're
July
interrupting
parade.
Justin.
All right.
Justin,
We
you're
need
interrupting
you.
Justin.
We need
Bourbon,
you lost. Or you're
salmon,
on that cross like our
abscess,
boss. You know the
Insolitionary.
charade, praise Jesus.
Come, winter the winter through the
Pissed
dinner
off.
winners. All
It's 2
consummate,
minutes.
lonely.
That wasn't
the
2
rotten
minutes.
silks.
Interrupting.
That wasn't 2
Justin,
minutes.
You're all interrupting.
He's done speaking.
I hadn't even got
Oh,
to the
Cling
part.
stumps through the siltered Woodrow mainstays,
Justin,
and
you still have
Castle
30
and
seconds.
Castle
You can keep
Garden
going.
trunks
Okay,
born
thank you.
golden
I don't
and
know.
fucked.
We need you
It's
pissed
your
off.
legs and
So
arms.
you can't feel your
Your
soul.
arms
So
are behind
brainwashed
walls,
in college
screaming
under
out
our
in sign
control.
language,
Here's
but
a
all
good
you
grade,
hear are the
Karen,
beats
for
of
all
the
your
elbows and the
knowledge.
twisted
10 more
fingers.
years and
Sounds
you'll
like
get
the
knowledge
knowledge
as
of
a
the
day
cold
shift
for
for
your
your
stunts
Sunday.
at night.
The mountain, more
Martin,
brilliant.
As
get out
a
of there, you
child,
pathetic
you were
fucker.
cherished.
And you try to
Now
be
when you smile, you feel embarrassed.
Resurrection,
Look in the mirror.
infantile,
Why
dialect,
I'm dying there and I'm not responsible. Callous of the white sky roams out your
They
window
got you,
like
Jason.
rolling bins, cloud
They
bills
locked
that
you
are shoveling
down,
the bristles,
Karen.
wrangled tin
Stormwash
tight
shit,
clothes
you
right
dumb
around with soil.
motherfuckers.
He's chewing at the
Tides and
mattresses.
moon
God damn it, I'll eat him alive.
Grown-up
Through
children,
existence is
dull
1,000
hearts,
alligator
dreamless,
pits,
swollen
sworn and
ducks,
made
The flaps
angry
of
by
the
red
fingers.
meat.
I'm absent to
addicted
their
to
birthright, so I
stress,
scream,
attached to the
screaming at the
drama.
lights within the butcher. You can say
Every
it,
day we
you
live in
big
your
fucker.
trauma
Guys!
like you don't have a choice.
Justin.
Afraid of your own voice.
Justin, you're interrupting Justin. Moderator,
Can I have
if
my
may
time back?
finish. Everybody out there, give it up one more time for Pasky Pasqua. Thank you, Pasky.
That's cool. All right. I have a black poem that I wrote for my yellow friend that I met in a grimy side street in Bangkok. It was about the love of his life a beautiful village muse with blue sad eyes who climbed up a white ship that sailed to a crimson faraway land. Her stairways never to return again. I have a green poem that I wrote for a brown friend that I met on a pale Washington Square bench in New York City one white Christmas afternoon. It was about the love of his life. A loveless senorita with lonely hazel eyes that he left in the barrio in Cozumel. Her heart was grieving and praying for a blue glimmer of light and a wandering star to shower her black after midnight and cheer her lonely hazel eyes. I have a yellow poem that I wrote for a black friend that I met inside a Greyhound bus on my way to an Orange County somewhere in California. His name is Green and he has brown eyes and gray hair. The poem that I wrote for him is for the blue memories of the blues that the aquamarine devil stole in the white crossroads of his tangerine pass in the name of a purple dream. My poem is brown, my pen is black, my words are white, my metaphors are green, and my language is gray. I want to squeeze this blue paper where I scribbled my yellow poem. You squeeze it hard with the black and white and color stories of the multicolored pages of my life. I want to squeeze his heart so I can show you the color of my blood. The color that can be mistaken by the shade of green on a passport, tin blue in a state ID, speck of brown or yellow in your flag, or orange in your suit. I want to squeeze this poem. You squeeze this poem hard, so hard, so this poem's blood will ooze and flow and dye and shade all the colors of the night that separate the beauty of the blue sky from the grime of the black streets. The blue tears in the daughter's eyes laugh at home, and the black rage in the father's heart as he sets to fight a black and white war in a brown land with a silver gun. The color of my poem is also the color of my father's soul, the color of my friend's heart. The color of my poem is also the color of my blood. Red is the color of my night.
The velvet pavement sticks to my Asics on a red sun Thursday. Scorched basil in the window, Flexeril pills, a wad of 50s, and Marilena's Italian birth certificate in a gallon freezer bag, ready on the sugar ant counter, waiting for the order, while Rondo lobs it off the window for LeBron in the Orlando condom. I'll book a pet-friendly room in an Olympia La Quinta, brave smoke to the Astro for 2 packs of On My Terms, Stay Dangerous, don't want to pay 9 in Washington. Lowry soared the perfect dove, Luca charmed a waterfall. Dripping lilacs on the ashy carpet, I was reminded of Mishima's nude mothers diving for pearls. Cherry violin, piped in moaning water. The brass needled my corners. I never opened a door so alone. The red trees are on fire, baby sickened by a rotten plum. Portland upset Jakarta tonight. Now we breathe with ruined lungs.
Once upon a midnight dreary, as I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, as I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, "rapping at my chamber door. This it is, and nothing more." How distinctly I remember it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its shadow on the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly had I tried to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here for evermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terror never felt before, so that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, this it is, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore, but the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came tapping, and so gently you came rapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you here. I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming, dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before, but the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, Lenore, which I whispered, and the echo murmured back the word, Lenore, merely this and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning once again, I heard a tapping somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more. Open here, I flung the shutter, when, with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mien of lord or lady perched above my chamber door, perched above the bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird, beguiling my sad fancy into smiling by the quaint and stern decorum of the countenance it wore, "Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou," I said, "art sure no craven, ghastly, grim, and antique raven, wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me, what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore!" Much I marvelled, this ungainly fowl, to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore, for we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast, upon the sculptured bust upon his chamber door, with such name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing further than he uttered, not a feather then he fluttered, till I, scarcely more than muttered, "Other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before." And the bird said, "Nevermore." Startled at the stillness broken by replies so aptly spoken, "Doubtless," said I, "what it utters is its only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master, whom unmerciful disaster followed fast, and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore of never, never more." But the raven still beguiling all my fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking I betook myself, to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking "Nevermore." This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fowl, whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease, reclining on the cushion's violet lining that the lamplight gloated o'er, but whose violet velvet lining with the lamplight gloating o'er she shall press nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed by an unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, thy God hath lent thee by these angels, he hath sent thee respite, respite and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh, quaff this kind nepenthe and forget the lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore, prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, whether tempter sent or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore, desolate yet all undaunted on this desert land unchanted, on this home by horror haunted. Tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore. Quoth the raven, nevermore, prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore. Tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within the distant Aiden it shall clasp a radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore. Clasp a rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked upstarting. Get thee back unto the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul hath spoken. Quit, leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart and get thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door. And his eye has all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor. And my soul, from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor, shall be lifted nevermore.
This one's dedicated to my friends. It's called A Proper Revolt. My ghost has a crush on the moon. There's so much to do. Our whole lives spent preparing for a proper revolt. There's talk of rising up. I am ready for it. A better world is possible, and I want to see it happen. My ghost has nothing left to lose. For weeks has been asking for a quiet night, has been bringing home tulips and stone fruit, has been sighing. I don't have time for this. My ghost insists. We go outside. There's so much to do, every day a protest. My ghost is daydreaming and I am shouting, what if we actually ate the rich? Yes, the time for revolution is now. My ghost is grinning like a fool. Imagine what we could do if we worked together. What if we were a hive of bees? What if we communicated by dancing? The moon looms overhead. We don't say anything, but I can hear my ghost softly crying. Elsewhere, everything collapsing. Things are so bad I can't keep up. We're ripe for a riot, but everyone's at work. I see what's happening here. We build a fire under the next full moons and make plans to build a guillotine. We ask what we are ready to give up. Everything is changing. How to not. I can tell you what not to do if you wake up in a strange city with no money. I can tell you the best way to set a bridge on fire. I can tell you the correct way to fix something is not to bend it slowly back and forth in opposite directions until it snaps. I can tell you with some uncertainty that over the crest of this hill you will see a city full of lights, and you will have the vague notion that the buildings are empty. Recall our old apartment, the one with only 3 walls held together with green trim, the bathtub cracked and leaking, and curtains always falling away from the windows as though the bedroom was a snake trying to remove its skin. I can tell you how not to break a light bulb and the best time to wake for a sunrise. When I think of love, I think of a marble I keep losing and finding again in odd places. Sometimes you will have no choice but to replace one great silence with another. I can tell you how to misplace something without it disappearing.
Hey folks, happy holidays, and thanks for joining us this evening. And throughout this whole year, it's been a joy doing this for you. I know it's been a wild year, it's been a trying year, definitely, and I know A lot of folks have been isolated and, can't be with their loved ones these holidays. But we hope we've been able to bring a little love and a little community to you through the love stream this year. Keep joining us here on Wednesday nights. We really appreciate the support. Thank you. I'm going to share with you a few poems for the season. This is Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening, Robert Frost. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the valley, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near, between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. And this is Gourd Day by Coleman Barks. About gourds, one thing they say in the Blue Ridge is, it takes a fool to grow a gourd, and they notice how I always get a good crop. The other thing they say is that you have to hard cuss gourd seed as you put them in the ground to get their attention before they'll even consider coming up. Gourds are stubborn. In the mystical poetry of Jalaluddin Rumi, gourds are a metaphor for human beings and their rattling speech. If we make our noises against enclosure long and hard enough, we'll break out and have some chance to germinate. This is the process. Planted in mid-May, a gourd vine becomes a wildly growing thing through July. I have clocked one tendril on a wet and sunny summer afternoon at 1.5 inches every 2 hours. The entire vine grows 7 yards a week. Of the kinds I know, one flowers white, opening in the evening. The other yellow, opening in the morning. Where the flowers drop off, fruit nubs appear and swell and streak and fill with rain. In the middle of September, you bring these heavy young'uns in and lay them side by side on newspapers on the daybed where they can rot. When they get good and mildew black with fur, you take them to the picnic table and wash them in white vinegar, scraping off the scum with your fingernails, leaving designs. After another month, they'll fuzz up again. Take them back to the picnic table with the vinegar and hold and wash and caress them like babies. Then do it again. You'll have dirty fingernails and hands that smell vinegary, and some fine hard-shell gourds. People, of course, make Martin houses and soup ladles and fancy African instruments out of gourds. Some friends brought me a Balinese penis sheath. That's a long-handled dipper gourd, cut off where the handle part enters the womb cavity. Me, I shake them to loosen the seeds from the clump inside and give them away whole on Gourd Day. Why can't a person make up a holiday and a way to celebrate it? It's December 17th, around sunset, with the sky deep winter red, that I secretly tie gourds to my friends' door knockers and message nails. They call me the Gourd Fairy. No cards or words go with them. Shelled in, foolish, and hard to get started. Gourds don't mean anything. Gourds don't mean anything. For What Binds Us by Jane Hirschfield. There are names for what binds us. Strong forces, weak forces. Look around. You can see them. The skin that forms in a half-empty cup. Nails rusting into the places they join. Joints dovetailed on their own weight. The way things stay so solidly wherever they've been set down. And gravity, scientists say, is weak. And see how the flesh grows back across a wound with great vehemence, more strong than the simple, untested surface before. There's a name for it on horses when it comes back darker and raised. Proud flesh, as all flesh is proud of its wounds. Wears them as honors given out after battle, small triumphs pinned to the chest. And when people have loved each other, see how it is like a scar between their bodies, stronger, darker, and proud. How the black cord makes of them a single fabric that nothing can tear or mend. And I'll leave you with this gift from the great W.S. Merwin. The present. As they were leaving the garden, one of the angels bent down to them and whispered, "I am to give you this as you are leaving the garden. I do not know what it is or what it is for, what you will do with it. You will not be able to keep it, but you will not be able to keep anything." Yet they both reached it once for the present. And when their hands met, they laughed. Thanks, y'all. Happy holidays. Take care and be safe out there. We'll see you next time.